Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we are talking Kennedy Club Fitness here with Keith Swank. Keith, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, had to get caught up on what's happening over there at Kennedy.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a little while since I've been in.
Yeah, it has been.
Um,
You guys
yeah,
now kind of shut down the one location, so you guys just have the three
yeah. So
locations?
just San Luis, Tascadero, and Paso. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's actually been time flies. Maybe been 2 years, but year and a half maybe or
Has it
something.
really?
Yeah, I
Oh my
think it
God.
has. It was actually a very long transition where we still had involvement as far as kind of the back end on the membership dues processing and stuff like that. So it's probably longer than it feels like, but because we were kind of attached to it for a while. But
Keith, tell me a little bit about the history of Kennedy Club Fitness. I know we've had Kevin in here, we've had
yeah,
Brett in here. That kind of started, I think it was a Cal Poly project.
yeah, it was. My understanding is a senior project kind of thing is how to make a go of that health club.
Right.
And at that time, I guess I think he opened in '81, if I remember correctly. At that time, Nautilus was really a big name. Not that they're not, but it was one of the bigger names coming out, and they had a lot of innovative stuff and a lot of different circuits and things. And Kevin got in with them and kind of, I think they kind of helped launch them a little bit. And so like the clubs had circuits, Nautilus circuits, and really kind of set up a little different than the gyms are now or the clubs are now. And he started in Tascadero and expanded to San Luis and Rio Grande and Paso Robles, and then say recently, a couple years ago, sold the Rio Grande club and got down to three. Sometimes that's better, and it's still functioning. It's Curl Fitness now. As a business friend of Kevin's, and he wanted to come in the area, and rather than compete, and so they just sold him that one. And
So, and that was kind of coming when he started Kennedy Club Fitness. It was kind of coming out of the era of the golden age, the whole Muscle Beach and kind
yeah,
of heavy muscle heads, and kind of catering towards the everyday average person with these machines, like
yeah,
you said, right?
yeah. More. I don't want to take it away from bodybuilding, but I would say more fitness. Almost, kind of ahead of your time on wellness, more fitness, more wellness, that kind of stuff is because, the average person's not going to, look like a professional bodybuilder. It's just not what they want to do, even if they could. So, Kevin wanted to be part of this county and making it one of the healthiest counties in the world.
And so it's been. I know you guys just celebrated what 40,
45.
45
So
years.
this year's 46. Yeah, 40. No, this will be 45. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
This will be
44.
45. Yeah.
So,
So,
I mean, that's a pretty substantial journey, to
yeah.
have a local business and a health
Yeah.
club for that matter. I mean, we'll get into it. I know you guys went through some ups and downs and stuff like that, but really the health craze of kind of bettering your life and your physical abilities and stuff like that
Yeah.
really started taking hold in like the 90s.
Um, yeah, it's like I said, I think Kevin kind of latched on early to the fitness, which wasn't, if I think you go back, fitness, maybe people jogged, and then there's bodybuilders, there wasn't a lot in between. So I think education, honestly, started to develop that kind of in between, and Kevin was in the middle of that, for this area, and developed it from there. Um, I wish I could tell you off the top of my head because I would probably tell you wrong that years he opened the other ones. But he went into San Luis and it's Woodstock Pizza,
Oh yeah,
where it's
yeah,
right there
right
in the corner,
downtown.
right by the Fremont Theater, and what's the name of the burger joint there?
Firestone.
Firestone, sorry.
Yeah.
Right in that corner. They were upstairs up there, and they're there for a long time. And then they built the multiplex down on Tank Farm Road in San Luis Obispo, and it just kind of blew up from there.
So how do over the last say 20 years, how has the fitness and health and fitness industry kind of changed?
Um, I think it's changed tremendously from what I've seen, and I think a huge part of that's the internet, social media, the internet. You can use it for good or bad, and for the industry, for the most part, it's been good. But I think people have been able to just at your fingertips. My phone's in my pocket. We can pull up exercises. You can pull up diets. You can pull up anything fitness related or anything in the world, I think that knowledge is really just spurred this industry. And I think we've talked before. and everything, in industry, like probably most businesses, it's pre-COVID numbers, post-COVID numbers, things like that. COVID was such a hard thing on the industry, but we're really seeing a resurgence. It's globally, it's not, this county, it's not even this nation, but just globally, we're seeing it. The United States is definitely seeing it. So, and it goes along with the other thing I keep seeing more and more, which affects this area is the younger generations they don't drink as much now.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they're doing something else, but they're not going to wineries as much. And I see news articles on that, and I talk to people in the industry, and they're in a little more fitness, things like that, and that's just for our industry is just a boom.
Because you see a lot of the kids. I mean, you see a lot of kids up there, men and women, really into like their physical appearance, and not so much getting into the bulk, massive bodybuilding, muscular look, but more
Yeah,
of the toned and presentable
yeah,
look.
yeah, and again, I think that goes back to the education on it. And if you get you can feel really good and be muscular. You can feel really good and be not as muscular. People don't see that. I'm not taking away from it at all, but if there's a physical appearance part, that's visual for yourself to look in the mirror, for maybe your significant other, or your friend, or your family, or whatever. It's kind of a satisfying to be fit, which is great. It should be. So and you can't buy fitness. You can buy weight loss drug, you can buy all sorts of stuff, but actual true fitness you can't buy. It has to be earned. So if you see someone's fit, someone's strong, someone's athletic, someone's this, and they've worked to do that, it's kind of a pat on the back to yourself a little bit.
How has the industry changed for like the senior citizens and the kind of like the older generation? Because you see them getting more into, going to the gym and kind of helping that longevity up a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's really taking a big jump. I'll say 10 years. It's probably been evolving like anything else, but 10 years, especially the last 5, we've seen it a lot more. As you know, we work with several different insurance companies. So I couldn't tell you, oops, hit my mic, club wide, we have hundreds and hundreds, hundreds of members their insurance either partially pays or pays their membership dues. So that's a help. Especially you look at our area in general, it's an expensive area to live. A lot of people, especially retired or on fixed incomes, maybe they have a little extra, but they don't necessarily want to spend it, or they just don't have the extra. So if they can do something to come in and keep themselves a little more fit, and not really cost them out of their pocket, it's been a huge thing for the industry. And it's been a huge thing for them as a community of elderly people. But I think part of that is the insurance companies starting to actually take action. I think they knew, but take action now. It's cheaper to keep someone healthy than it is to cure them from an illness or a fall or whatever it is. And again, I think education in general, regardless of it's a young generation or older generation, is keen into that. So we're seeing a lot more memberships through the insurance, but also just regular paid members too. They're a little bit older, and it's obviously not as fitness like a 22-year-old, or maybe they want to show a little more muscle, or they want to be able to run a little bit quicker, or jog, or whatever. They're trying to stay healthy to live a normal life, to walk with their grandkids, to go to the grocery store and pick up grocery bags that are heavy and not strain themselves and not fall and get hurt. You hear all the time of an older person that fell, broke a hip or something, then they go in the hospital, then they get pneumonia. That took 5 years off their life.
And,
just
and you're
from
right.
that.
And so, and I think that a lot of the older generation is now starting to see that, like you said, through the internet and stuff like that, longevity, eating right, and the having muscle on your body versus just kind of letting skin,
Yeah, and you're right on that. And I've seen study after study after study for years now, that the actual person's muscle content. And again, we're not talking having someone to look like a professional bodybuilder, but there's so many indicators there of a healthier life as they get older. We're in our 50s, and
easy.
well, you're a little bit younger than me, but not too much. We're still there. But if you literally look, to me, you look like a good strong guy. You don't look like you're 55 or 52 or whatever, whatever it is. I just don't look at people that way. if you go back and look at like old pictures, I want to say our grandparents, got
Yeah,
their, a 55-year-old grandpa looked like an old man,
right.
and we don't have to anymore. You can be healthier, you can be stronger, and live a more productive life longer.
I want to jump back to the insurance stuff. Is that something that the insurance will make available or let the patient customer know that this is available to them, or is this something they have to do their own research
Yeah,
for?
well, a lot of it's through Medicare. So if you'll have a particular plan, and I'm not super educated on the different plans or something, but let's say it's
The
Medicare plan
silver.
C or
Mm,
B, and they'll have a list of things that you kind of perk package in a sense. You get, maybe it's prescription, percent of paid or it's paid. Maybe it's, this or that or their copay, whatever it is, and that particular plan offers, a partial or paid gym membership. So what we do, and what anybody in the industry could do, is you connect with the insurance companies and you get to basically be a provider, and you agree upon a monthly rate for anybody that goes through this plan. The thing that we'll get sometimes, a lot of people come in and go, my friend or my sister or someone's insurance paid, so I would like to have that too. It's not really up to us, and it's not something that we can really do anything about. We can just facilitate it because we're working with the contract under the insurance companies. So you have to go back to your insurance company and say, hey, do I have this option on my insurance plan? And
interesting.
if you do, and you want to sign up for Kenny Club Fitness, it could be, there could be another health club or another gym in the area that's also on there, that's maybe more fitting for you. Then you say, I want to sign up with Kenny Club Fitness. They send us an email with your contact information. We put you in the system and contact you, and you're ready to go.
And Kennedy Club Fitness, so your membership includes everything,
Yes.
right? For the most part.
Yes.
But you have the pools. So tell me, like, everything that your membership is included with.
There's I'm trying to think. It might be easier to say what's not included in it, but there's really not much that's not included in it. Every club's a little bit different, has its own personality. So, and I'll just kind of throw the Paso Club in there. We have an area we call it Serenity. We do have our own personal training Pilates studio in there, which we have a new person working at now because our Brenda that worked for us moved out of the area. So Jenny Clevenger's in there now. She's doing a great job promoting it and trying to develop that a little bit more. Then we have rental offices in there. We have a masseuse in there, a hairstylist, aesthetics.
That's before you get into the gym,
Yeah,
kind of by the daycare.
yeah. So I mean, those are kind of with us. They're not Kenny Club Fitness. Those are businesses that we've worked with. They kind of benefit from. Those are like businesses, similar businesses that kind of feed off each other. They kind of take advantage of all the traffic that comes in Kenny. It's the same sidewalk, but those are paid things, but they're not something we actually offer. The other clubs kind of have rental spaces and stuff for different businesses also. So there could be things attached in the sense that aren't really, there are paid services that aren't anything to do with us and as far as being paid. But as far as what we have, so all the clubs have a pool, full size Olympic pool. Tascaro also has a smaller indoor pool. We have our San Francisco club. It has a golf simulator, but it's paid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was down the other day and I saw someone in there using that. It was kind of, it was different, and especially because I don't hit the ball very straight. So it might be a good thing for someone like me. I can practice a little bit, and not have to see where that ball actually went. I get a little bit closer, but there'll be a few off things like that, and each club could be a little bit different. But the group exercise classes, the swimming pools, and the group exercise classes are 30 to 40 per week of all variations, from wellness to chair yoga to power, which is weightlifting class, things like that. The racquetball courts. San Luis has a full basketball court still. Paso we have about 3/4 of a court. Our functional training areas, obviously all the weights, the cardios, steam rooms in the clubs, hot tubs with the spas with the pools. It's all the membership, all for all three clubs. So if you pay the dues, you get access to all three. Our Testero Club does have a single club membership, just to put that out there. You can pay a little bit less if you're like you say, I won't ever use one of the other clubs. I
Okay.
don't really care about the access or anything like that. And some people that works out okay. but for the most part, most memberships we sell are going to be for all three clubs.
Tell me about the K Zone. I know, and I'm going to talk specifically about Paso because that's the one I know the most about. Tell me about the K Zone and what all you guys have in that area.
Well, for Paso, we have a hydro massage, which is it's a. Have you sat on that before?
I have not.
Okay, we'll have to do that. It's basically a very strong wave of water underneath you, and it's going to give you a massage. So it's a lounge chair you're sitting in. As a computer screen, you program the intensity of the water. You program the speed it goes up and down, and you can program it to like stop on your lower back. Maybe it's your legs, wherever you want on your body. We have one of that. We have one that's also called it's a hot and cold. So it's the same idea, except you can set areas that are hot on your body and set areas that are cooler
At the same time?
Same time.
Really?
Which I'm going to tell you a tiny bit more on that in a second. But that's what we have. And then all the clubs have infrared sauna. Salis has a bigger one because they have a little bigger lobby and have a more use for one down there. But infrared saunas, which those are huge anymore, to help draw toxins out of your system and kind of get a good sweat in a sense. Massage chairs, which we all have massage chairs. So it's kind of not a full lounge like you lay back on the hydro, but it's if you go to the fair, I think you see them at the fair.
Yeah, I've
These
seen those.
booths that there and these massage chairs. They'll massage your calves, your shoulders, your arms, back. They'll have dozens of settings, so you can again intensity of that roller going up and down your back, the intensity and squeeze on your calves, all that stuff. So it's basically what the industry's really kicked into in the last 10 years and grown so much last few is recovery. So you're going to go when you're working out, you're depleting your body and you're damaging it. You're damaging your muscle fibers. So the quickest way to recover from that is these kind of tools that they're learning, and it's grown so much in the last few years. But I was going to mention the Paso Club, and I believe the Tascadero is the other one. But we're getting what we call a dry plunge. So cold plunge has been a big thing also.
Right. That's been huge for the last 10 years.
Especially with athletes, and I get it. I'm not a huge fan of super cold water. So it's not been something I've been personally wanting to do, but there's things here that could make it a little more difficult. It's not, you just can't go buy one. Well, I shouldn't say you can go buy one. And pricing, I started looking at it a few years ago. Prices come way down, just like a VCR was expensive when they were made, and then now they're cheap.
VCR.
But you actually have to going old school there.
Right.
But I have to have somewhere to get water into it. I got to have somewhere to drain the water. And I get all these things you got to do. It's not you can't
after each session.
Well, not necessarily. You would think, but they make them now. You can adjust chemicals like you do a pool.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be all the time. So the cold plunge is 30 seconds to 2 minutes, something like that. If someone was in there and you had to drain it and refill the water for 30 seconds use, I mean that it just doesn't work. For us just to work the effort to do that. But most of them you don't have to do every use by any means, but you still have to do it. So I looked at different plumbing it in. Where the room I would use for it is next to one of our locker rooms, so I'd have to plumb through the wall, come through the water there, add a water inlet, put a drain in to drain out to our pool deck. It's a lot of work. So I've always just I'd love to have one, but how are we going to do this and make it worthwhile? But we ran across this year. It's the same thing as the hydros, but they're called a dry plunge. So it's a hydro massage, but it's cold. So it doesn't really have the massage effect, but it's the cold. And I used one at our product show we go to every year. It's in March, and it's not a 2-minute thing or a 30-second thing. I think they recommend like 7 minutes. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, depending on if you get used to it. But you're sitting in this hydro chair, and it's basically got wraps from them, almost like they fold you like a burrito kind of sense. They kind of fold over you, and these things get cold fast. And so it's kind of like a putting in the freezer and ice. I'm thinking ice pack.
Really?
And so when they're demoing the shows, they don't want to take too long. So I was in there for maybe 4 minutes, and when they took me off of it, my arms, I could feel it. I was cold. And so we have those ordered. I'm hoping to probably be here. I thought they'd be here by now, so it should be pretty soon. We'll see those.
So that'll be part of the K Zone?
Yeah, part of the K Zone. And now that's actually paid. So you actually have to add as your membership.
Okay.
And it's $24.99. You can add that to your membership. So that's an extra. You get to use it every day. We kind of, we don't really have an issue with it. We don't want, you can use everything if you wanted. Most people don't, because you're not doing the infrared, you're doing the cold, you're doing this or that. But people tend to kind of find something they like. And if you want to use it every day, you can.
So what's the therapy between going the hot and the cold? Because you have the infrared sauna, which there's multiple settings in that. I still don't know. I've been in that a couple times, and I'm either on fire or
Yeah.
I'm not hot enough. And like,
And that's just a preference.
yeah.
Everybody's resistance is different and what they feel comfortable.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, and it's just like anything, like if we go back to playing high school sports and you injured your ankle, you ice is ice, you elevate it, heat, depending on what it's heat or cold, depending on the injury, the same idea, because the heat will treat your muscles differently than the cold will. So there's just options.
So is the infrared, does that kind of eliminate, like, because you guys still have a traditional sauna, right? Or did you guys take that out? Like a traditional steam?
We have the steam rooms, they're in the locker rooms.
Okay.
So yeah, we still have those.
So, but is the steam kind of getting taken over by these infrareds?
No, not really. I think it's more of an addition to. I really don't see. I haven't experienced people that were using the steam room that said, "Oh, you have this now. I'm not going to use the steam room anymore." They just kind of seem. It's really just a preference. Some people like the steam. Some people don't. I'm not a big fan of the steam. To me, I don't. To me, I don't tend to breathe as well with it. I don't feel as comfortable when it's when I can't see.
Yeah.
I can't see and it's hot, and where the infrared's a little bit different. You could sit in there. So yeah, it's just a preference.
Tell me how Kennedy Paso has changed over the last year, because I know you guys have gotten a lot of new equipment. You guys have kind of changed the floor plan a little bit. Tell me how Paso Robles has changed last year.
Gosh, so I guess I'll extend a little bit more than a year. So, what we try to do is like the product show I mentioned, we were trying these dry plunges out. That usually happens. It's in the springtime or early spring, late winter. Usually it's Marchish, and it's always on the West Coast. East Coast is too cold. Weather's not good enough to have those kind of things. So they always have on the West Coast somewhere. And so we'll go to that. The big companies are buying, huge amounts of equipment and millions of dollars. They're buying for a year from now or 2 years from now. They're going to reset their clubs 2 years from now with their, millions of dollars loan they got or whatever they're doing or investment. We're kind of like this year. So we'll go and we'll look at the equipment. Each club states kind of its own personality or our own needs. So the Tasero Club might be looking for some weight equipment. Paso might be looking for some cardio this year. Each manager, each club has their own manager. We kind of know what we're looking for in the club and work with our owners, Kevin and Brett. And, this is what we're looking at, kind of what we're thinking, kind of do some pre-planning. Probably have some conversations with the vendors that we normally deal with. Then we go to the show and actually try the product, look it out, look at some new stuff. We walk away from that. It's like, I want this, and this. What can we fit in the budget this year? So if I go back about a year and a half ago, just on the calendar, as far as Paso, the upstairs, about 2/3 of it was carpet at one time. We've slowly gotten rid of that. We finished getting rid of the carpet upstairs, so we replaced the flooring. We had a multi-station machine, so a lat pull down here and a row over here and a tricep on the next side and a crossover in the middle. We doubled that size of that and moved that to the other side of the weight room, and just kind of reorganized that. When we're able to move that one big machine, kind of thing goes off of that, and we're able to kind of reorganize and line machines up. And we were due to get a lot of new equipment as far as the weight industry or the weight side of it, weight resistance, and that's where the industry's seen so much growth lately. Into COVID, cardio just died, and it was all weights. Now cardio's come back to a reasonable even mix, but we still see a heavy dominance on the resistance training. So we wanted to make sure we keep that updated, get some new equipment as often as we can, and we can budget. And the new equipment is just so much nice. Small footprints, they work smoother. The angles are being figured out differently and better. Again, just with education from the manufacturers. So we've really done a lot in that. and we're gonna add the dry plunge to the K zone this year too.
How do you facilitate, say, a new member that doesn't have any of the education or knowledge of how I mean, there, some of these machines are pretty confusing.
Yeah.
How do you facilitate those new members?
Well, we've had a lot of machines come with like a QR code now, so you can even actually just a member can actually just scan and actually get a quick little tutorial video on using that particular machine. So that's been a little bit of a help. But the main thing with us is a little more personal, and we try to anybody that's it could be someone that's used to lift or cardio, whatever, when they were in high school, or kids, or college or out of college, and now they're 60 years old and just don't want to get in better shape again, or it could be someone completely new. So anybody, like you mentioned, that's just not quite comfortable, whenever you sign up, we do have free sessions that we can put with the trainer. That's just part of the membership when you join. There's no extra cost or anything to it. So we'll set you up with a trainer. It could be 1 or 2 sessions depending on what you need, and they'll talk to you for a few minutes to kind of figure out what your goal is and what you're trying to achieve, and they can take that, kind of quickly, like, hey, these would be great machines to start with. This is how you use them. What advice can we give them on that and help kickstart them off in the right way?
Tell me about a success that you've had. Kind of thinking in that mindset. Somebody doesn't really know. Maybe they're older. Maybe they're, kind of in their senior citizen. They're just wanting to kind of build some strength, some muscle mass to, kind of feel better. Tell me about a success.
Well, I know I mentioned a while back. I'll throw a few out there. I got a nice letter from a woman, one of our trainers, and working with Haley, a particular trainer, she's getting out a little bit stronger. She's ability's a little bit better, agility's a little bit better, and she has a little ranch. She's taking care of herself, so she can go feed her animals and feel comfortable. She's not going to fall. All those kind of things. That's just everyday life. Again, it's not a bodybuilding competition show or something, and that's what most people are trying to do. They just want a better, healthier, a little better life, normal life, and not something extreme. But we have those things that happen, on a pretty regular basis with our personal trainers. And there's a younger gentleman. He's probably, I would say, he's late 20s, early 30s, and I know he works locally. I'll leave his name out or anything. Just a big, strong guy. And I saw him a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I just hadn't seen him in the club much, and he looked like he had trimmed down a lot, and he'd been in a lot. I just hadn't seen him, and he goes, yeah, I just, he was carrying more weight than he wanted, and he just like, hey, I'm gonna trim down, and using Kennedy to help do that, and he looks great, and he looked good before, but he's healthier now. He's, you meet a young guy, and what's so great about that is you see this. Let's say he's 30, because I'm not exactly sure how old he was. If he's 30, that's going to parlay to when he's 60, and when he's 50, when he's 40. So it's great to do it at any age, but when you see the young people that maybe got off just a little bit, already keen in, like, hey, I want to be healthier, which means a little bit stronger, which means maybe it's less weight, maybe it's more weight, depending on who you are. But the real common thing is people, especially in our country, we're so spoiled. A lot of people get overweight, so losing weight
Easy to do.
Yeah, it's super easy, and that's kind of human nature. We take the easy course, and having that big meal looks really good, and I get it in the same way. But weight loss is where we see a lot of success stories, and we have a gentleman I'm going to say he's probably mid-50s, and he's just a big man. No way around that. In general, tall, everything. He was just a big guy. If he was thin, he'd be a big guy, and he was heavy, and he got into Kennedy and started working, and the big thing is that with the industry, if you can get, I'm not going to say 3 months is like an automatic, but that's kind of the idea. If you can get 3 months in, with good consistent work, you'll start seeing changes, and once you physically see changes, then it's a
That's
good
your
drug.
motivation.
Yeah, there it is. Like, I can sweat in those old pants, or my shirt fits a little bit better, and I can actually move with my kids or my grandkids, and when I sit at a table, I don't have to put, we get people that are really overweight, and they don't fit in a chair as well, something like that, and they start seeing this success, physically. Then that part lays again in everyday life,
Right.
and that's just a catalyst. Once you get to that point, if you're really kind of off and you can get to a point you actually see changes and feel better, then you crave it.
What about the influences for like nutrition, supplementation? I'm sure supplementation's still bigger than it's ever been. How's the influence with that with members? And because you guys have trainers on staff too, that somebody can get weekly,
Yeah,
monthly, however that
yeah,
works.
we don't really have a lot of that going on, and I'll be honest, it's probably something we're very aware of. Honestly, it's just finding the right personnel. So there's to be actual nutritionist, you have to be educated. It's just schooling, the whole thing. So to actually, it's hard. We've had it from time to time, but we don't have anybody on staff really at this moment that's doing just that. Now our trainers are educated, and a lot of our employees are educated. I feel like I'm reasonably educated on it, but so we can give you some friendly advice, but we kind of really try to be really careful with that, as far as like, okay, you should eat this and this, because we're not certified
Right. You don't know
nutritionalists.
what their nutritional needs are
Yeah,
or,
so yeah,
potential risks.
and to really do that right, someone might want to take blood work, things like that, to really where are their levels at, where are they this or that. So it's a pretty big picture for that. But generically, just kind of wellness and fitness, cut out the processed foods, cut out your sugar, limit the alcohol, all those kind of things, whole foods, all that kind of stuff. That is 80% of it.
Well, interesting fact is we had the young lady on here about a year ago about the breads, sourdough versus wheat,
Yeah.
and I thought that was a pretty interesting fact that I didn't know about. That sourdough is better for you
Yeah.
than a wheat bread.
I knew that, honestly. Listening to that, it actually like put it even more in my mind. So I actually kind of look to that now.
Me
If I
too.
go to a sandwich place, I go, sourdough.
Absolutely.
Um,
But have you guys gotten in or have the future focus on? I mean, I know there's you have the like where people get hooked up to IVs. I mean, there's so many different things that people can do at a health club that may or may not be in your guys' wheelhouse, right now, but it's something that it looks like is trending in the industry because I believe the health club industry is fixing to double in the next 10 years based on statistics.
yeah, yeah, and I'm going to kind of go. I'm not going to avoid the question. I'm going to kind of generic with it. They we talked about Kevin Kennedy, where he started and where we're at now. There's such an evolution in that, and some of it's just natural, and some of it's, not necessarily natural, but we see the industry, so we're evolving too. So yes, we're always evolving. We're not right now with the management team. We don't have a list of we want to see the IV thing next, or we want to see this next. It's more of just say kind of natural evolution of where the industry goes. And one thing with us is we're still really small communities. I grew up in Paso, so it's not to me. It's grown so much from 12,000, 50,000 people to 30,000 people, but overall we're actually still pretty small. So we do have to be kind of conscious of where we invest our money, what return we're going to get on that. If we want to be up on what's going on in the latest and the best. If we jump too fast and the general knowledge of the general public isn't into it yet, we're not going to get enough out of it for the investment and the time and everything we're going to put into. So we kind of have to balance that out. We watch the industry closely. I know the managers, we all do. And the owners, we're looking. I mean, literally daily. We get information and we get email stuff and what's happening with this, what is growing here, why it's growing, what generation is looking at what and why. So we're always digesting that information and seeing, are we where we need to be, and if not, where do we need to go with it and when.
Before we close out, I want to step back to the multifunctional area now that you have. So tell me about that and what's the reasoning for that area.
Kind of. So we're going to go back to say like the younger generation. They're not designed for that, but they're kind of evolving to like, hey, more fitness, more this or that. So we have high school kids all the way up to we have 90-year-olds that come in, and that's a 75-year age gap. And everybody's going to look at something a little bit different, what their needs are, what their purposes are. You can go up and lift weights up in our upstairs in our clubs, Tassero's downstairs and upstairs. But you can go lift weights, and that's going to do great for you. And someone else might be looking like, hey, I do this all day. I work in construction. I want to be able to carry this stronger. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to carry the feed buckets to my horse, whatever it might be. So actual movement. And I think the industry's picked to that about 20, 30 years ago. Movement's a big part of it too, not just moving
Stagnant
weight.
move.
Yeah, actual movement. It can be part of it for a lot of people too. So the functional training areas are really just kind of designed for more movement. So you'll see, ropes, you'll see tire flips, sleds, those kind of things, where you can actually row machines. It's more of a movement involved. I want to say muscle development, but
Everyday life.
strength. Yeah,
Everyday life
strength
activities.
development. Yeah.
Awesome. Are you guys hiring right now?
I can't speak for other clubs. We're really not. This time of year, I know I'll just speak for the Paso Robles Club. San Luis seems to have a little different thing because they have the colleges that get affected by a lot. But with Paso and I'm sure Tassero's is kind of similar. We usually have some young staff that will work the front desk. Well, you might have 2 that go to college, and maybe 1 graduated and staying and go to work. So the things are kind of always evolving right now. And usually, September-ish, I try to get that kind of figured out right about now. you gotta get new people in before the other people leave, get them trained up, and then September try to kind of solidify everything. But we're always looking for good help for sure, regardless. If you have personal trainers, group exercise instructors, or we're not necessarily always looking. We're always looking. Maybe not advertising, but it's not unusual that I'll get emails from someone that's hey, moved out of there. I'm from Arizona, from New York. I'm from the Bay Area, wherever, and I used to teach cycle. I used to teach these classes with these formats, yoga, whatever it might be. And I'm looking for work. So we'll always give that to our group exercise directors, and they'll always see if there's a place, if they fit and have good experience stuff. There's always looking for a place to put good people.
Awesome. So Keith, once again, tell me the 3 locations, and can people go online to sign up or get more information?
San Luis Obispo, Tascadero, and Paso Robles. You can sign up online, and then the club is always also available. We can spit that out.
And they can always come in for a tour.
Oh yeah,
check it out, see if it's the right fit.
Yeah, and each club, it depends on the situation that comes in, but for me, I always like to see if we'll give you a tour or show it if you're just not sure. And we have probably 35-40% of the people that come in will take some sort of group exercise class. It's like, okay, that bar class or that yoga class, that looks really good. I say, well, hey, I'll give you a pass for tomorrow. Come in and try it out.
Awesome.
Because we love our clubs, and we put a lot of effort into them. And the best thing is to try it yourself and see if you like it.
You guys are open 7 days a week?
7 days a week.
Awesome. Well, Keith, I appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you being a part of What's Up North County.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we always enjoy, having some fun with you guys. Coming into the studio and learning a little bit more about Kennedy Club Fitness.
Yeah.
And congratulations on this year being 45 years.
Yeah, that's such a major accomplishment. It's for any business to be that long is great. And, we're the strongest we've ever been.
Awesome. Well, again, thanks for coming in, and we'll have to catch up sooner next time.
Yeah,
Got
thanks
some all
for
the
having me.
all the different stuff and all the nutritional things and the holidays coming up and, trying to stay fit
Yeah,
during this
it's
time.
it's consistency is the key. So
There you
just
go.
got to keep working.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming in.
Yep, thank you.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, make sure you guys check out Kennedy Club Fitness. 3 locations on the Central Coast. Tascadero, Paso Robles, and San Luis Obispo. One location fits them all. And go check them out, get a tour, and check out some of their awesome classes. And check out the insurance. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank us for our body plan. By the way, visit Tascadero, 805 MGP Coding 1776. Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite, Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Angela Hickson Port Photography, Airflow Filter Services, the Tascadero Chamber, Templeton Heating and Air, and of course, thanks again, guys. We'll see you next time.
When you look at your concrete, do you see what it is or what it could be? This is Matt Gifford at MGP Coatings. We don't just cover concrete, we reimagine it. Stronger, cleaner, brighter, and built to last. From garages to commercial spaces, we turn ordinary slabs into stunning, durable surfaces that make every day feel brand new. Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check out our new website, mgpcoatings.solutions, or check any of our social medias. MGP Coatings, concrete reimagined.
It's time to play, come stay at the Hideaway. Wine Travelers Hideaway. In wine country you'll stay at the Wine Travelers Hideaway. Book today, enjoy your stay at the Wine Travelers Hideaway.
My name is Jennifer Borhone Wescombe.
And I'm Haley Wescombe from Borhone Auto Center. Borhone Auto Center is a family-owned and operated GMC dealership. We are your go-to dealership for quality vehicles. With a vast inventory and personalized service, we are here to make your purchase seamless.
Whether it's a luxurious Yukon or a rugged Sierra, we have the perfect ride for you. Come see us today to experience the Borhone family difference. We are located on the corner of Highway 46 East and Golden Hill Road in Paso Robles.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
Airflow Filter Service serving the North County for all your automotive needs. Air filters, oil filters, batteries, and more. Airflow is the store located at 1140 Ramada Drive in Paso Robles. If you pass the railroad tracks, you've gone too far.
Your home is your castle. It keeps you safe when the weather's rough. But if you're not taking care of your roof, things could get a little wild. 1776 Roofing with RoofMax will fix up the rough spots, treat the shingles, and give it years more life at a fraction of what a new roof costs. At TLC, your roof needs now. Call 805-900-1776.
When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Shirts, hats, hoodies, and more. Your hometown custom apparel store. 805 Customs. 805 Customs. 805 Customs. Where freedom never goes out of style.
Looking to grow your business strong. The Atascadero Chamber is where you belong. Networking events and community pride, helping local businesses thrive side by side.